You have spent your entire life asking, begging, repeating prayers, making promises, lighting candles, waiting for a sign from the heavens, and nothing happened. Not because God has abandoned you, not because you are undeserving, but because you have forgotten the primary secret, the one the ancient mystics whispered only to the most prepared disciples. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you feel you already are. And as long as you continue to ask on your knees, with your heart tight with lack, you are merely reinforcing to the universe that it does not yet belong to you. Today, I am going to teach you to stop asking and start occupying. Because there is an ancient technique, known by Neville Goddard, whispered by Joseph Murphy, proven by the quantum physics of the human heart, and it will change your reality this very week. But I must warn you, there is a common error, a single error, that is nullifying all of your manifestations. And if you do not correct this error by the end of this video, you will remain exactly where you are for the next 10 years. Take a deep breath, sit down, and pay attention. Because Archangel Michael is revealing something now, and the enemy of your mind knows exactly what your weak point is. Let me ask you an honest question. How long have you been trying to manifest the same thing? A love that keeps appearing in your dreams, but never at your door. A sum of money that would settle your late bills, those bills that arrive every 5th of the month and tighten your chest. The healing of a dear family member, reconciliation with a child who has drifted away, a home of your own, a job that finally values you after 40. You have tried everything. You have visualized. You have written in your journal. You have repeated affirmations in the mirror. You have given thanks before the time, and yet nothing. Life remains exactly the same, and exhaustion has turned into silent despair. You lie down at night staring at the ceiling, wondering, has God forgotten me? No, God never forgets anyone. The problem is not up there. The problem is in the old program running within your subconscious, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without you even noticing. Your subconscious mind is like an invisible server that processes every feeling you emit, and it does not listen to your words. It listens to the emotional vibration behind them. You can say, I am prosperous 1,000 times, but if deep down you feel the fear of not paying your bill, the subconscious registers the fear, not the phrase. And it is the fear that it manifests. It is the fear that it multiplies. It is the fear that it transforms into physical reality, into an overdrawn account, into a job that never comes, into a relationship that does not happen. This is the error. This is the leak. You are praying with your mouth, but decreeing with your heart the opposite of what you desire. And as long as this contradiction exists within you, no manifestation will come to fruition. That is why Neville Goddard said a phrase that shakes foundations. The feeling is the secret. It is not faith in the word, it is faith in the feeling. It is not what you say, it is what you dare to feel as already fulfilled. And here is the point that will change everything. There is a specific state of consciousness, an internal frequency, that when you occupy it, the universe is forced to reorganize itself around you. The ancients called this the fourth dimension. Modern science calls it the coherent electromagnetic field of the heart. And it is exactly to this place that I am going to take you now. But first I need to tell you something, because I know you felt something strange when you started watching this video. A gentle restlessness, a feeling in your chest that these words are reaching you at a very specific moment in your life, as if something within you were already waiting to hear this. This is not by chance. There is a silent force that organizes encounters, that moves algorithms, that places people on the right path at the exact moment. And this force brought you here today, not for you to simply watch another video and go on with life the same way, but for you to finally understand that you are being called to a greater spiritual responsibility. Perhaps you have been feeling this for weeks, that impression that you need to protect someone, that inner voice saying that there is something beyond what your eyes see, that feeling that time is shorter than it seems. Many feel it, few understand it. And that is why I have prepared a powerful digital book for you, titled How to Know If God Will Save You at the Final Judgment. This is not just another book. It is a spiritual manual written for those who have realized they are living a calling and need clear answers before it is too late. People who write to me every day report profound transformations after only a few pages: peace in their hearts, correct decisions, the restoration of entire families, and deliverances that seem impossible. The link is right below in the description and pinned to the top of the comments. And I ask that you access it now, because this content may be taken down at any moment. If you felt something while I was speaking, comment only Amen to confirm that you have accepted this calling. Now let me give you the first practical key. The law of assumption, formulated by Neville Goddard, starts from an absolute principle. Your outer life is merely the mirror of your inner self-conception. You do not live what you deserve. You live what you assume yourself to be. When you say I am, you are using the divine name, the same name revealed to Moses before the burning bush. I am that I am. It is not by chance that every time you complete that sentence with a feeling, you are literally decreeing a reality in the invisible field. If you say I am tired, you assume the state of tiredness, and life brings you more exhausting situations. If you say I am lonely, you assume loneliness as an identity, and the universe confirms that identity by distancing people. But if you say I am loved, I am prosperous, I am healed, and most importantly, if you feel this as an internal truth without needing external proof, you have just changed your frequency. And when the frequency changes, reality is forced to change along with it. Because reality is not fixed, it is responsive. It responds to your dominant state of consciousness. Most people fail because they assume the desire for only a few minutes a day during visualization and spend the other 23 hours and 50 minutes feeling lack, anxiety, and doubt. It is like planting a seed and pulling it out every day to check if it has sprouted. Persistence in the feeling is what distinguishes those who manifest from those who merely fantasize. Neville taught a powerful practice, and I want to give it to you now, because it will work for you, just as it has worked for thousands of people who write to me every week. It is called nocturnal reprogramming. There is a sacred window of 5 to 15 minutes before you fall asleep, when your brain naturally enters a state of alpha and theta waves, and these waves are doors open directly to your subconscious. In this moment, it does not matter what happened during the day. It does not matter how many bills have arrived. It does not matter if the relationship has not yet been restored. You will close your eyes and mentally occupy the state of the wish fulfilled. Feel what your life would be like if what you are asking for had already happened. Feel the relief, the joy, the natural gratitude, the spontaneous smile. Do not ask, occupy. Do not imagine from the outside. Live from within and fall asleep in that feeling. Because what you take into sleep, the subconscious works on throughout the entire night, and in a few weeks, your external reality begins to rearrange itself to confirm what you assumed within. And here enters a concept that will impress you: the bridge of incidence. When you assume a new state of consciousness and persist in it, the universe creates a sequence of small, apparently disconnected events that will lead you step by step to the final realization. A casual meeting in a bank line, an unexpected call from someone who disappeared, a job advertisement that appears on your phone without you looking for it, an idea that comes out of nowhere while you are in the shower. These incidents are the bridges that connect the invisible to the visible. And when you begin to notice these signs happening in your life, you will understand that the manifestation was already underway long before you saw the final result. But I must warn you now about the most dangerous error, the one that annuls everything you have just learned. The error lies in the inner dialogue. You may spend 15 minutes before sleep occupying the state of the wish fulfilled, but if during the entire day your inner voice keeps repeating, "This will never work out, nothing happens for me, I have always had bad luck, life is hard indeed, that is how it had to be," you are cancelling your own manifestation. The inner dialogue is the continuous prayer of the soul. You are praying all the time, even when you think you are not. Every repetitive thought is a prayer. Every complaint is a decree. Every lament is a confirmation to the subconscious that your current reality is correct and must remain. Therefore, starting today, you must begin to watch this dialogue, not to repress it with brute force, but to replace it gently. Every time you catch yourself thinking, "I cannot," Stop, breathe, and say internally, I am capable, and this is already being fulfilled in me. Every time fear arises, you can whisper to yourself, the feeling is the secret, and I choose the feeling of peace now. And it is precisely here that many people ask me, but how am I to feel joy for something that has not yet happened? How am I to feel abundance while looking at an empty bank account? How am I to feel love while alone in a silent room? This is the right question, and the answer will shake you. You need to understand that there is an abyssal difference between pretending and assuming. Pretending is an effort of the surface. It is lying to oneself, and the subconscious perceives the lie and rejects it. Assuming is different. Assuming is to go into silence, close your eyes, and for an instant release the old identity and put on the new one. It is like an actor who gets into character. For that moment, he is not pretending to be the character. He is the character. And your subconscious does not differentiate an experience lived with real feeling from an experience imagined with real feeling. To it, both are equally true. That is why science today confirms what the mystics have always known. When you imagine a vivid emotional scene, your heart emits an electromagnetic wave that extends to nearly 3 meters around you, altering the field of information around you, and this alteration begins to attract coincidences, people and situations aligned with that emitted vibration. It is not magic. It is physics. It is the physics of consciousness, which humanity is only just beginning to rediscover, but which the ancient prophets already mastered thousands of years ago. And perhaps you are feeling now, as I speak, a kind of pleasant tightening in your chest, a different warmth, a sensation that finally someone is putting into words that which you have always intuited but never knew how to explain. This, too, is no coincidence. Your spirit is recognizing the truth. And when the spirit recognizes the truth, it demands a decision. You cannot hear these words and continue living in the same way. There is a call knocking on the door of your consciousness at this very instant, and it has to do with your family, with those who depend on your spiritual strength, with those people who pray for you without you knowing, and especially with those you need to protect before it is too late. That is why I have prepared a powerful digital book for you, How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day, because within it are answers that I cannot deliver in a single video. Answers on how to recognize the signs that have been coming to you over the last few weeks, on how to spiritually shield your home, and on how to understand whether what you are experiencing is a test, an attack, or divine direction. The link is in the description below and pinned at the top of the comments. Do not leave it for later, because later sometimes does not arrive. Now I want to take you deeper, because up to here you have learned what to do. But I need to teach you how to occupy. The great majority of people who study the law of assumption fail precisely in the execution because they understand the theory but cannot sustain the practice. And here is the secret that few teachers truly deliver. The secret to sustainability lies in 3 simultaneous pillars: the scene, the feeling, and the naturalness. The scene is a short mental image of at most 30 seconds which represents your desire already fulfilled. Not the entire realization, just a specific moment that could only happen if that were already true. For example, if you want a new love, your scene is not the entire wedding, it is just the instant in which this person holds your hand and looks into your eyes with a smile. If you want financial prosperity, your scene is not the bank balance, it is the instant in which you open the door of your new home and smell the environment. If you want family healing, your scene is the silent, lingering embrace with that child or that brother who has returned. Short, vivid, sensory scenes. You need to see the details, hear the sounds, smell the scents, perceive the temperature of the environment. The second pillar is feeling. It is not enough to visualize the scene. You must feel what you would feel if it were real right now. And here is where many people get stuck, because they try to force an exaggerated emotion. That is not it. The right feeling is usually a profound sense of relief, a thank God finally. It is this emotional naturalness that opens the channel. It is not euphoria, it is quiet gratitude. It is not desperation, it is serene certainty. When you manage to reach this point, even for 30 seconds you have just planted the seed in the fertile soil of the subconscious. The third pillar is naturalness, and this is what most separates those who manifest quickly from those who take years. Naturalness means that after performing your nightly practice, you let go. You do not keep checking all the time to see if it has appeared yet. You do not keep asking the universe, where is it? You do not keep measuring the sky. You simply live your day with the inner sensation that it is already yours, even without seeing proof. And this carefree attitude, this quiet surrender, this silent faith, is what makes the bridge of incidents begin to build itself. Because the universe does not respond to haste, it responds to conviction. And true conviction does not need to chase, it knows it is being guided. I will give you a practical example that illustrates this crystal clearly. Imagine a 48-year-old woman who has spent her entire life in frustrated relationships. She has tried everything. She has been to therapy, she has visited fortune tellers, she has read self-help books, and yet she remains alone, thinking the problem is her. When she finally understands the law of assumption, she stops asking for a man. She begins to occupy the state of the beloved woman. She wakes up in the morning before doing anything else, and for 2 minutes while still in bed, she feels as if she were already living a healthy love. She smiles to herself. She places her hand on her chest and feels gratitude for the partner who has already arrived on the invisible plane. At night, before falling asleep, she imagines a short scene, him hugging her from behind in the kitchen while she makes coffee. She feels the warmth of his hands. She senses the smell of the coffee. She hears his breathing behind her. And she falls asleep in this feeling. In the first few weeks, nothing visible happens, but something inside her has changed. She is lighter, more beautiful on the inside, more centered. People start looking at her differently. An old friend calls out of the blue wanting to introduce someone. A man she met years ago reappears. The incidents begin. The bridge is being built. And in a few months, she is living what she assumed to be. Not because she deserved it more than before, but because she finally dared to occupy it. And I know that at this moment you might be thinking, but what about when doubt comes? What about when fear tightens its grip? What about when the bills arrive and I feel panic? That is the test. And I will give you the key to persistence, which is the most important verb of this entire journey. Persisting does not mean never doubting, it means returning. You will doubt, yes. You will have bad days. You will cry in the bathroom. And that is all right. What matters is what you do immediately after. You return to the feeling. You return to the scene. You return to the I am. Persistence is like rowing against the current at the beginning, and after a few weeks, the current changes direction and begins to carry you. It is exactly at this point that most people give up, 2 steps before the miracle. Do not be that person. You did not arrive here at this video at this moment in your life, by chance. And here I must tell you a truth that few have the courage to speak. There is a spiritual resistance surrounding every person who is about to awaken. The closer you are to your transformation, the more the enemy of your mind tries to pull you back into the old pattern. Absurd thoughts will appear. Toxic people will show up, reopening old conversations. Last-minute financial situations will arise to drive you into despair. Bad news will arrive to pull you out of your state. All of this is the last breath of the old program trying to stay alive within you. And your role is not to yield. Your role is to recognize and say internally, I see what is happening, but I remain in the state I have chosen. This simple phrase, repeated with conviction, dissolves attacks that would otherwise take months to pass. It was for this reason that I prepared the powerful digital book for you, How to Know If God Will Save You at the Final Judgment. Within it, you will find not only the confirmation of everything we are discussing here, but also specific prayers, spiritual shielding practices, and the step-by-step process for you to recognize which stage of awakening you are in. People who have obtained this book write to me with things that give me chills. Mothers who reconciled with their children after years of estrangement, men who regained their health when doctors had already given up, women who finally found true love after 50. The link is in the description below and at the top of the comments. Access it now, before this video is taken down, because content like this has been frequently removed from the platforms, and I do not know how long I will be able to keep it online. Now let us go to the final part, the most delicate part, the one I save for prepared ears. There is a level of the law of assumption that goes beyond material manifestation. It is the level of the eternal I am. When you understand that within you dwells a spark of the divine, a consciousness that is part of the Creator itself, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances. You recognize yourself as the co-creator of your reality. And this is not arrogance, it is the greatest possible humility, because you finally accept the responsibility that was always yours. You stop blaming the past, your parents, your exes, the government, the economy, or bad luck. You take the helm. You understand that every state of consciousness you occupy, even for a few minutes, is literally sculpting your tomorrow. And that changes everything, because from this point on, you no longer live by reacting, you live by creating. And when you reach this level, something curious happens. You stop wanting to manifest things to fill a void, and you begin to manifest things because it is natural for an aligned soul to experience abundance in all areas. Money ceases to be a problem and becomes a tool. Love ceases to be despair and becomes an expression. Healing ceases to be a struggle and becomes the recognition of a health that was always available in the spiritual field, waiting to be occupied. You become magnetic, not because you are trying, but because you have finally occupied your internal throne. And the universe bows before those who occupy their own throne. So I want to leave you with a decree of acceptance. If this video touched a deep place within you, if your heart raced at any moment, if you felt tears wanting to fall even without a clear reason, that is confirmation. Your spirit is saying yes, and your work now is to honor that yes. Tap the like button as a decree. Subscribe to the channel as an acceptance of your new reality. Share this video with that person who came to your mind while I was speaking, because perhaps they are in need of exactly this today. And above all, go now to the description, click on the link for the book, How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day, and take the next step on your journey. You did not come to this video by chance. There is a reason, and you know it deep down inside. Do not ignore the call. Archangel Michael is interceding now, but the decision is yours. Comment I am to seal this moment, to confirm that you have accepted the awakening, and to leave it registered for the universe that from today on you no longer ask, you occupy. Your new life begins at this very instant. So mote it be, and so it is.